So I have been waiting over a year to see this film, The Lodge. It was supposed to come out last November, got pushed back to February, got a limited release in the early part of February, but come February 23rd, it finally hit my market here in St. Louis, and I am here to talk about it because, when it comes to horror films, as you all know, I'm a big horror fan, and 2020 hasn't been the greatest year for horror this far, but The Lodge might have changed that. We're going to talk about that and much more. A soon-to-be stepmom is snowed in with her fiancé's 2 children at a remote holiday village. Just as relations begin to thaw between the trio, some strange and frightening events take place. What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to my channel, Movie Files. Elliot here with a brand new review for the film The Lodge, which I was very excited to talk about, and I am going to break it down for you all in this non-spoiler review. But before we dive into it, as you can see on the screen now, make sure you're following me on all my social media accounts. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Hit that bell so you can stay up to date with my latest videos. Give this video a thumbs up, and make sure you leave some comments below. What did you think of The Lodge? Was it frightening for you? Do you ever want to go into a remote place where there's a bunch of snow, you can get snowed in with someone you don't know? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Let's have some fun dialogue down there. So no spoilers, spoiler-free review. For those that have seen it and want to get more in depth with this film, because I would love to talk about this film with you all, make sure if you're going to spoil anything to put some really highlighted things, saying spoilers, and we can have some discussions down there without giving anything away for those that haven't seen it yet. But as I had mentioned, guys, 2020 hasn't been the greatest year for horror so far. I think I've only seen a couple horror films. One that come to mind is like Fantasy Island. Didn't see The Grudge or some other films that came out that just hasn't really hit the mark for me personally. But, 2020 is a lot of stuff coming out, from A24, Neon, Halloween Kills. I mean, we got Candyman. There's so many horror films I'm so excited for. And I think that The Lodge might have pushed things in the right direction, leading to my early screening of The Invisible Man. So let's talk about some of these positives. I don't know, it's probably just me. The older I get, the more and more I appreciate a couple things as far as filmmaking. I've made films when I was in college, but as I'm starting to review films, I'm really starting to appreciate when a film has great cinematography and great score. Those things really stick to me, and that's something that I can really highlight about this film as far as the positives. When it comes to creepy horror films, we have those traditional tropes, we have the conventional things that kind of come up, but I think this film kind of has some of those moments, like, why are we going to this lodge where no one's going to be able to find you, and why are these people deciding to put these kids in this cabin with someone they don't like? They have those tropes to it, but besides that, this film does a really good job of elevating itself to creating the atmosphere, to creating this sense of dread, creating a sense of what the heck is going to happen. I don't want to give too much away, but this is kind of a horror film that touches a lot on religion. I'll leave it at that, but I really appreciated the technical achievements from this film, from the cinematography, being trapped out in the snow and feeling like you're caved in with these people. Great job by the director and cinematographer and the score design of this film. Really great job there. Got to talk about the performances. This is someone I've been watching for a while now. Riley Keough, or Kino, if I'm pronouncing it wrong, I apologize. I am a big fan of hers. Seeing her in things on TV, seeing her making her move into movies such as Mad Max Fury Road, seeing her in movies like American Honey, seeing her in It Comes at Night, a film I didn't like that much, but I liked her performance. She is someone to keep an eye out for. She is someone that I can definitely see being that lead actress in big tentpole films, but right now she's a very selective artist when she's picking her films, and she is fantastic. She plays Grace in this film, who, without giving too much away, has a very dark and sinister past and a very dark upbringing, and her and her father's relationship is very disturbing. I'll just kind of leave it at that. But I thought Grace did a phenomenal, or Riley playing Grace did a phenomenal job of bringing this complexity to the character. You're rooting for her at times. You're feeling bad for her, but then sometimes you're like, Riley, whoa, you're going to some dark spots. I really enjoyed the performance by Riley Keough. And again, she is someone to keep an eye out for, and she is phenomenal in this role. Something that really kind of stood out to me too with this movie, and I'll go into the other actors, but this had a lot of Hereditary vibes. Ari Aster's Hereditary that came out 2 years ago, which was probably the last film that I can say that really kind of got under my skin. I watch a lot of horror films. I enjoy them for when they're thrillers, when they're mysteries, and I really enjoy being disturbed. But this film definitely kind of hits those levels, not as high as Hereditary, but definitely has a lot of Hereditary vibes coming from it. And I won't give away the reasons why, but definitely reminded me of that. But going back to the performances, kid actors, they can either take the film to a higher level or kind of lower it a little bit, but these kids in this film are fantastic. Starting off with Jaeden Martell, who we all kind of know. He's been acting for a while. I mean, seeing him in Midnight Train, I believe was the film, him and Michael Shannon and Adam Driver. Obviously seeing him in It, recently seeing him in Knives Out. He's a fantastic actor, and this kid's growing up so fast. He's 17 years old, which is crazy, but I loved his relationship. Aiden and Grace, their back and forth was fantastic in my opinion. I would have loved to have gotten more for that from those two actors, but they did a great job, and Jay did a good job as well. And then the young lady that played Aiden's little sister, Lia, I believe her name is Lia McHugh, someone I'm not too familiar with, but I know she's going to be in Marvel's Eternals later this year, and I'm excited to see what she does in that film because she was fantastic in this movie. You felt for her. She was just great. She had the right emotions when they needed to be there. I thought she was great, and everyone else in this film, from Alicia Silverstone to the person that played the dad, I can't think of his name right now. I thought the performances were amazing. As far as the scares go, you know, like I said, I've seen a lot of horror films, so it takes a lot to get under my skin. And like I said, this film didn't necessarily terrify me, but this film is brutal, and not by certain ways like conventional horror where it's blood and guts, stuff like that, but it's just psychologically, it gets in your head, and it's brutal. I'm just going to leave it at that. I won't give too much away from that, but kind of going into my criticisms here, one of the things that I'm still sitting with, again, I'm pre-recording this. I'm seeing it on Sunday, so for those that see the film, very coincidental, and I'm seeing it on a Sunday with it having the religious undertones in this film, but, you know, one of the things that I'm still contemplating about as far as did I like it, did I not like it, there's a particular spin, there's a twist in this film, and I won't give it away, obviously, but I don't know, because I was liking, like, okay, I'm liking where this is going. Very interesting reasoning of where they're going and maybe their explanation of what happens to people when certain things happen. I was liking that angle, but then they do a switch, and I'm just like, I would have preferred them diving deeper into that aspect. So for those that know the film, that seen the film, you probably know what I'm talking about, and I'll just leave it at that. But I don't know, I'm kind of 50-50 on the fence about that kind of switch kind of halfway through the film, because the first two acts do a really good job. I'm going to warn you guys, it's a slow burn. It gives you meet these characters, you see the situation that they're in, you meet and you learn more about Grace, which I would have liked to explore more about Grace and kind of how she met their dad and kind of how he handled the information that he was given and what he decided to do with that information. I would have loved to explore that more, but it is a slow burn. But I was really intrigued and invested in those first two acts. And then we have that switch, and I'm kind of like I said, I'm kind of on the fence about how I feel about it, because I would have liked to explore the original idea rather than having that switch. I'll just leave it right at that. But again, without giving too much away, kind of wrapping up this review, there's a lot more positives to say about this film. It's one of the best horror films, psychological horror films I've seen so far this year. I'm excited to see what's coming later this year. Again, I'm going to be seeing Invisible Man. By the time this review's out, I'll probably already seen it. I might re-review for the Invisible Man already out, but very excited to see the rest of 2020 as far as horror goes, and this is definitely one of my favorite ones so far. Again, my score is based on that twist because I don't know how I feel about it thus far, but I'm going to give this film a 3.5 out of 5. I would recommend you all checking out The Lodge if you get a chance to see it at your local theater. Give this film a shot, and I think you won't be disappointed. So that's my thoughts on the film, guys. Let me know what you thought of the film in the comments below. Give this video a thumbs up. Make sure you're keeping an eye out for my content this week, from seeing Emma, The Invisible Man, Outsider. I got an unboxing and giveaway for Knives Out, and plenty more things coming this week, so make sure you keep an eye out for those videos. Follow me on all my social media accounts. Thank you all again for watching this review, and we'll see you in the next video.